Hi there everyone and welcome to TechCravers. The reason I made this video that you're about to watch is very simple. Every single day I receive questions about which handheld I recommend for various purposes and which one I use the most. These questions make me realize that I don't actually have as much time to play as I would like to have. While I'm incredibly grateful for the feedback I receive from you and all my viewers, one downside is that I find myself constantly thinking about the next video and review process. I frequently receive new handhelds from companies wanting me to review them, which leaves me very little time to truly enjoy any of them. So it got me thinking, and in today's video I'd like to discuss the handheld that I constantly find myself returning to and bringing along for any trips that I might take. And that's the Odin 2 from a company called AYN. The Odin 2 was undoubtedly the best Android handheld of 2023 and it's poised to maintain that position this year as well. The reason why this handheld remains unmatched is its top-notch performance, limited only by software, particularly poorly optimized emulators. Not only does it boast an outstanding performance, but it also comes at a very affordable price, at least when you count in what it can do. So let's dive into pricing and the available options. First off, when I say affordable, I don't mean cheap. This is one of those handhelds that you need to save up a little more for, but in return you get exactly what you pay for or perhaps even more. There are three different versions: a base model, a pro model, which I have, and a max model. The base model is priced at $299, which might sound like a lot at first. However, in comparison, a smartphone with equivalent specs and CPU would cost you at least twice as much. When you consider this, it's impossible to comprehend the magic that AYN has employed to sell them at such an affordable price. They all come equipped with the same blazingly fast Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset. In fact, everything is identical across the handhelds except for the RAM and the internal storage, which increase progressively with each model. So which model should you go for? Well, initially you might think that opting for the most expensive model is the obvious choice when you want to play high-end stuff like Switch emulation and demanding Android game ports. However, in my testing and that of many others, it has been shown that the extra RAM that you get with the pricier models doesn't significantly impact game performance. Additionally, you should consider that all models come with an SD card slot, allowing for the use of external memory cards as well. So in short, if you're really on a budget, I'd say to go for the base model. But if you want to future-proof your device, it might be worth investing the extra money in a pro model. However, at present, I'd find it difficult to recommend the max model because it doesn't quite justify the price increase in terms of performance. And with the prices and model options covered, let's delve into what you can expect in terms of emulation performance, which is also one of the top reasons to consider an Odin 2 in 2024. I've mentioned it before and I'll say it again, this device comfortably emulates games up to and including GameCube and PlayStation 2. It even handles upscaled graphics, allowing you to enjoy your old favorites in higher definition than ever before. What's more, it does all this out of the box, no need to tweak settings or switch between different graphic APIs like Vulkan or OpenGL, everything just works as long as you set up your emulators and provide the game files known as ROMs. Actually, what the Odin 2 can and can't emulate has little to do with the power of the Snapdragon chipset inside of it. It all depends on how well optimized and developed the emulators are. Simply put, if a game from a generation up to GameCube and PlayStation 2 doesn't run smoothly on the Odin 2, it's due to the software and not the hardware. This is also another reason why you should consider investing in an Odin 2, even though it has been on the market for a while now. Even if AYN has likely started development on the Odin 3, the Odin 2 is already too advanced in terms of hardware that the bottleneck for what it can handle doesn't lie in the device itself, but rather in the development of the software, which AYN doesn't have anything to do with. Of course, this also means that you're limited to using apps and playing games that are available for Android. For instance, you won't be able to play Wii U and Xbox games because there simply aren't any emulators for those platforms on Android. However, if there's an Android port of a PC game or high-end native Android game that you want to play at maximum settings, you can count on the Odin 2 to handle them with ease. In fact, I haven't encountered any such game that hasn't run smoothly at max settings on my Odin 2. The Android ports of Doom 3 and especially Half-Life 2 works incredibly well on the Odin 2, and you should definitely give them a try if you haven't already. I have a complete tutorial among my other videos on how you get Half-Life 2 up and running on the Odin 2, so be sure to check that out after watching this video. Reason number 3 to get an Odin 2 is the incredible hardware itself, and this time I'm not even referring to the magic inside the Odin 2, I'm talking about the tangible features that you can see and feel. The 6-inch 1080p screen, for instance, is a pure joy to gaze at. The colors are so vivid that they almost pop out of the screen, and the screen brightness can be set to an impressive 500 nits, meaning you can comfortably take this out in the sun and play without any issues. In addition to the screen, the device itself is extremely comfortable to hold even during extended gaming sessions. The relatively thick grips makes it easy to grasp the Odin 2, reducing the likelihood of accidents like drops. Moreover, it's made with quality components. Everything from the buttons to the D-pad, joystick and even the shoulder buttons feels sturdy, and there's nothing that will break easily. Additionally, there's a wide range of hardware tweaks that you can engage in if you're inclined. For instance, you can swap out the face buttons for these PlayStation style buttons or any others that you prefer. I have a video uploaded on my channel where I walk through the entire process. It might not be super easy, but it's very rewarding when you're done. And another reason why the Odin 2 is worth your money is that, in my opinion, the by far best emulator frontend, EmulationStation, is now finally available for Android. So this may not be a reason why the Odin 2 surpasses all other handhelds, but since the Odin 2 can now run EmulationStation, it has also become significantly better. I've used Digishu in the past, and while that's also a good frontend, EmulationStation is far superior and offers much more customization and setup options. I have a full video tutorial on how to set up EmulationStation on the Odin 2 or any other Android device as well, so don't forget to watch that if you haven't already. Now, the last aspect specific to the Odin 2 that I must mention is its battery life. I truly believe that this device boasts the best battery on the market, not only among Android handhelds, but among any handheld PC or Linux handheld as well, and probably most smartphones also. First of all, it's equipped with an absolute massive 8000 mAh battery. Not only is that one of the largest in any handheld device out there, in fact most other handhelds don't even have half that capacity. Paired with the very energy efficient chipset inside, it provides a battery life that can last for an entire day of gaming. Now, I understand that most of you won't be playing for 10 hours straight, but never having to worry about the battery lasting through the whole trip is extremely convenient, at least for me. And it's definitely nothing I take for granted with my other handhelds. In comparison, I'm thrilled that my Steam Deck OLED will give me an average of 3 hours or maybe 4 or 5 hours for indie games and easier to run games, and my ROG Ally will give me about half of that if I'm lucky. And you might of course be wondering why I'm suddenly bringing in two of the most popular handheld PCs into the discussion. It's actually quite simple. The number one argument against why the Odin 2 wouldn't be worth its price is the existence of the Steam Deck. And when we consider the price, it's easy to see that the Pro version of the Odin 2, including shipping, lands in on roughly the same price range as the budget version of the Steam Deck, around $400. So in terms of pure performance, the answer is simple. The Steam Deck is powerful enough, as we know, to play Wii U, Xbox and PlayStation 3 games, and of course, perhaps most importantly, PC games. So if your primary goal is to play PC games and perhaps Wii U and PlayStation 3, then you've already figured out that there's only one option for you, and that's the Steam Deck. But if your main purpose is to emulate older systems, as I've mentioned numerous times by now, up to and including GameCube and PlayStation 2, and perhaps even adding some PS Vita and Switch emulation on top of that, then personally I would opt for the Odin 2. The smaller form factor and significantly better battery life really appeal to me. Lastly, let's discuss the future and how future-proof it is to purchase an Odin 2 today. Well, the latest flagship phones already have a more powerful and energy-efficient CPU in the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. I briefly covered Switch emulation on that CPU in one of my other videos, so check it out if you haven't already. However, after the lawsuit where Nintendo shut down the popular Switch emulator Juzu, development has stagnated, especially concerning Switch emulation for Android. So currently the market is waiting for a good successor. But even for Android games, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 isn't fully optimized yet, and several games have experienced graphical bugs. However, all of this will surely be sorted out over time, and Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is of course even more powerful than Gen 2, which is in the Odin 2. But I don't think we'll see a difference in emulation performance for several years away. This is because, as I mentioned before, it's the software that's lagging behind and not the hardware. Additionally, AYN continuously sends out new updates and works closely with the community to discover bugs and issues with the Odin 2 devices, ensuring they will function for a long time to come. And with that said, we have reached the end of my Odin 2 appreciation video. I hope you enjoyed it and that you would consider leaving a thumbs up if you did. Also feel free to comment down below if you own an Odin 2 or if you're eagerly awaiting yours. Above all, share what you're most excited about with the Odin 2. Thank you so much for sitting through this video. Don't forget to subscribe to TechCravers if you'd like more content like this in your feed in the future. Catch you in the next one. TechCravers out.